Hi guys. All right, I am going to go over our lesson for Tuesday. So Tuesday is the 5th. You guys have map testing. Again, the girls are going to test at 8 o'clock and the boys at 11:30. And so you guys are going to be working on your assignments by yourself. So I wanted to go over those with you. So if you are with my math group, we're doing division with repeated subtraction on a number line. So on Monday, we learned about how to do repeated subtraction, and that's the same. When we're dividing, we're doing repeated subtraction. So today is just taking that and we're going to show it on a number line. So if you go to page 344, it looks like this. And so up at the top here, let me zoom in, see a little better. All right, so up at the top here, it says another way to divide by repeated subtraction is to use a number line. So here we're doing 54 divided by 4, and so we're taking that total, 52, and we're pulling out groups of 4. And so here's our number line. So if you look all the way over here, we started with 52, and then we're going to go all the way to 0. And each time that we make a jump, we're jumping by 4. So when I went here, I did my first jump. That was a group of 4. My second, my third, my fourth, my fifth, all the way down. I was able to make 13 jumps. There were 13 groups of 4 that I was able to pull out from that 52. And so I went ahead and I labeled those jumps. And then I labeled, when I went from here to here, that was 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, and 52. So each time I'm counting by those groups of 4. So I filled in that bottom part. And then it says, how many equal groups of 4 were you able to subtract? That was 13 of those jumps, so I put 13. So therefore, 52 divided by 4 is 13. On the next one, I went ahead and I drew this out in my notebook. So 84 divided by 7. So here I made, I put this in my notebook. I titled it Division Repeated Subtraction on a Number Line. And this time, since I'm doing 84 divided by 7, my larger number, the 84, is my total. So I went all the way from 0 to 84. And this time, since I'm dividing by 7, I'm going to do groups of 7. So every time I did a jump, that was one group of 7, 2 groups of 7, 3 groups of 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 groups. So since I was able to pull out 12 groups of 7, that means that 84 divided by 7 is equal to 12. Okay. So there's some more problems on here where you're doing examples of that. You can use your notebook. Then on the bottom here, number 6, it says, can you divide 32 by 3 evenly? And explain your answer. So here, if I'm at 32, let me zoom this in again. So if I'm at 32 and I'm dividing by 3, I'm going to go back 3 places. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So here, each of those jumps, I was able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was able to do 10 jumps. Okay, so I can pull out 10 groups. But then there were 2 left over. And what that means, so 10 groups with 2 left over. So what that means, today we were using our beans. So the same thing, if I count out 32, so here I'm doing groups of 3. So there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, there's 30, and then 32. So if I was able to make all these groups of 3, I can make 10 of them. So here's my 10 groups. But there are 2 that are left over that I can't make a group with. So when it says, can you divide 32 by 3 evenly? The answer would be no, because in order to divide it by evenly, I would need to either add an extra bean, or I would need to take away those 2 and just have 30. 32 cannot be, is not divisible by 3. So here we call that those 2 that were left over, we call those remainders. Okay, they are the remaining amount that we can't make a group with. Okay, so here you can just put on the bottom, make a complete sentence about how you can't divide that evenly. Okay, all right. Oop, got more beans. Put all these away. So work on that page, and then the part that you're turning in for your independent work. So that part's just the practice that we would normally do together. And then your independent work is on page 348. So on this page, the directions say to pick any 4. So I don't care if you want to pick 12, 13, 14, 15, 12, 15, 16, 17. It doesn't matter. Just pick 4 on this page to solve. And then just like we did today, those are going to go in Google Classroom, week 18 math responses. You're going to click on that document, and you're going to put, just like you put the numbers here for today, you're going to put the numbers here. And if you pick 12, 13, 14, 15, then you're going to write down those problems and put your answer. This is just the letters, so only put the letter for your answer. And then you're done with math. If you want to do, where's my agenda? If you want to do some, I put on here, we're not doing any small groups, of course, because of testing. But if you'd like to do some eSpark, the more you do, the better you are going to be at math. The more you practice something, the better you get at it. So you can do eSpark for when you're finished with that. All right, for reading, we're going to continue looking at informational texts. And today we're going to look at sequence and chronological order. So with this, these are texts where you have something that happens, and it's a series of events. So something happens, and then you have these beans away. You have an order of events of things that are happening, and your job is to either put them in order or say what comes either before something or what comes after, things like that. So if you go over to Seesaw and you open up your reading, and this is the story we did today, so we're on page 4. So it says the title is A Gecko, No Kidding, Placed Phone Calls from Hawaii, or from Hawaii Animal Hospital. So you're going to use this graphic organizer to make a timeline of the events that happened. So first, this happened, next, this happened, then this happened, and then last, this is what happened. So you're going to use this organizer to show the events of what happens with this gecko. So you're going to read page 6, 7, 8, and then, too far. So stop at 8, and then once you've read it, go back in and you can fill in your organizer here. Then you have your read aloud and independent activities. So for here, you're reading The Dawn of the Donut. Again, you're filling out causes and effects, and you're recording your story. I want you to read this and record it for me. Then you've got page 10 where you're putting in commas here where you've got list of items and things like that that need commas. So put those on page 10 and 11. And then there's 2 discussion questions. Remember, this 13 pages, this is for the whole week. So decide how you want to do it. Some of you might want to go ahead and get it done. So go ahead, just do a couple a day, or do, half today, half tomorrow, or so on. And decide how you want to break it apart, but make sure it gets done by Friday. Then, let's see. Same thing, eSpark when you're done. And I didn't put in here. What was it called again? Dawn of the Donut. Can't type. Dawn of the Donut activities. All right, so make sure you work on that. Then for writing, writing is also going to be in Google Classroom this week. So here, week 18, writing composition. You're going to click on this. And this is one of the ones like we've done before where everybody has their own page. So here on this first page, you have your prompt. And so it says, think about all the things you have learned about during your life. Write. So here's what you're going to write about. Write about something you have learned and explain why it was important to you. So today we're going to do the introduction. And so you're going to find your name. So if my name's David, I'm going to go to page 3. If my name is Alex, I'm going to go to page 9. So find the one. They go all the way down. Each one has a name. Find your name, and you're going to click to add the text, and you're going to write your introduction. You can start with a funnel. You can start with a question, anecdote, however you want to start, it's fine. But make sure you're addressing that central idea, and you have to be specific, and you have to tell the reader what it is that you've learned. So somewhere in there, you're putting what you learned. Now, don't do the explain why it was important to you, because we're only doing the introduction. So the introduction isn't where you go into details and you start explaining everything. We'll do that on the following day, on Wednesday. So today, on Tuesday, only the introduction. So here, Monday, we did the Flipgrid. Tuesday, introduction. Wednesday, we'll write the bodies. Thursday, conclusion. Friday, revise, edit, and publish. For the lesson, let me move me over here. All right, so our lesson today is going to be on, we're going to start talking about the conclusion. So a conclusion is something that wraps up a report. So your conclusion is that last section that we're going to have in our paper. So we've got the introduction, where we say our central idea. The body is where we do our explaining, and we go into detail and give facts and reasons and examples and things like that help explain what our reason is. And then our conclusion just is finishing up our paper here. So it uses a transitional phrase. This one is my favorite. As you can see, I almost always start with as you can see. Then it tells how the author feels about the topic. So as you can see, there's so much to learn about dolphins. It repeats the main ideas of the subtopics. So for this one, they're talking about dolphins. So they say these playful and intelligent mammals are just like you or me. Then it ends with a wish or a hope. This is just an example. I hope that you too now find each unique type of dolphin just as beautiful as I do. Okay, so that is one way that you can have a conclusion, finish up your paper. So here, when you're talking about things that you've learned, or I'm sorry, not things, because it says something. Make sure you're only writing about one thing that you learned. So something that you have learned, you're going to say, you can use this same kind of format, but make it fit with what this is asking you to write about. And we'll talk more about that as the week goes on when we get closer to doing the conclusion. So that's what we're going to do for writing. Moving back down there. All right, so please make sure you're only writing on your page. Do not write on anybody else's, only the one with your name on it. Then you have independent work, editing, and revising. So if you go here, back to week 18, editing and revising practice, you click on this here, and you put your first and last name. And here you have a question, and then you have to put the correct answer. If you push the wrong answer, like let's say you put D, you have to use capital letters. So if you put D, it says, you have to put your name also. It says, oops, try again. It won't let you move on until you put the right answer. So make sure you're really paying attention and looking for those correct answers. So you're going to do that and then turn that in. And again, make sure you put your first and last name here at the top. It won't let you continue if you don't fill that part in. Then, all right, so that's for writing. Then for science, you have 3 videos to watch here. They're only a couple minutes each about different weather instruments. Some of them are probably ones that you've heard about, like thermometers and rain gauges and stuff like that, but there's probably some new ones on there that you might not be familiar with, so make sure you're paying attention to those. And then for social studies, you have Tuesday's pages, so go over to your Social Studies, Week 18 Social Studies, and click on this. Make sure you're going to the article to get your answers, so listen to that first. And Tuesday has 2 slides, page 5 and 6. It's just question 6 here. Which sentence from the story supports the idea that Houston's decision to destroy a bridge was a very important one? And then slide 6. Number 7, why did Houston agree not to execute Santa Anna? So find those 2. The link is continued from, I missed a whole slide. Page 4, sorry. Let me start over. So slide 4, you have 4, 5, 6, and 7. So Tuesday is actually 3 pages. I stand corrected. So the article is on that slide 4. So make sure you click on that to do those. All right, so 4 says paragraph 2 is mostly about, and number 5, paragraph 3 is important to the article because it blank. So make sure you're really going back to those paragraphs and rereading them before you get your answer. All right, when you're done, that is all the assignments that you're turning in and completing. When you're done, remember, please do not forget about eSpark, your choice boards. All of these are put on there to give you extra practice. So make sure you're doing those and checking things out on those each day. and make sure you pick up a good book to read, and good luck with your math testing. All right, thanks, guys.